This project started with an email. My friend Kim McIntyre works at the Pratt Fine Arts Center in Seattle, who's hosting an art auction this spring. Kim reached out and asked if I would be interested in donating one of my pieces. I'm deeply grateful for Pratt for giving me my start in teaching back in 2021, when I had the opportunity to lead several online Kumiko classes through them. So not only did I say yes to donating a piece, but I wanted to build a new project specifically for them. The idea for this lamp immediately came to mind. I'm milling some red oak that will make up the main body of this lamp. This board has a lot of checks that I need to work around, and to get all my parts, the top and bottom need to come from 2 pieces glued together. Once the glue dried, I trimmed all the pieces to their final width and added a 45-degree bevel on all of the ends. The front of the lamp will feature some Kumiko, and I want it to be captured within the panels and have accents of it showing through the sides. So I'm ripping off 5/8 of an inch from the edges of all the pieces. This will be the frame for the Kumiko. Each piece gets labeled, that way it can go back in the same orientation, making it as seamless as possible. It's still very early in the project, but all the finish sanding needs to get done now because I won't be able to do much sanding after this next step. I want to add some extra details to the lamp, and for that, I'm using my opt laser. It attaches to the CNC with this quick connect plate, which makes it very convenient to switch from CNC to laser. I'm still very new to this laser, so I want to do a test on a scrap piece before I commit to the entire project. I'm using the grid on my spoil board to square this scrap to the tool, and manually jogging the tool head to set my 0 position. Opt Laser does have a few different models that work with a lot of different CNCs that are currently on the market. For anyone curious, this is the XT8 45-watt plug-and-play kit. After just a few minutes, this operation was done, and it turned out perfectly on the first test. So I loaded up the pieces for the lamp and engraved those the exact same way. I really enjoy making things by hand, and that won't go away, but it's really nice to use digital fabrication tools to add some details to projects that without them would be very difficult. The next step is to cut a rabbet on both edges of all the pieces. This small recess will provide an area for the acrylic sheets to nest into. I decided to engrave ginkgo leaves for a couple of reasons. They not only have a very beautiful shape, but they also symbolize peace and hope, which directly align with Pratt's values. Pratt Fine Arts Center serves as a tribute to Edwin T. Pratt, a man who championed open and equal access to education and housing opportunities for all of Seattle's residents. 50 years after Edwin's life was sadly taken, Pratt Fine Arts Center published an essay celebrating his life and legacy. I'll leave a link to that essay below if you want to learn more. While the main body of this lamp is drying, I'll turn my attention to the frame. I adjusted my JT Woodworks Kumiko sled to the correct spacing and cut evenly spaced joints into the back of all the frame parts. These get glued together with the blue tape method the same way as the body of the lamp. I've made a lot of Kumiko projects, and many of them include very intricate patterns with hundreds of different pieces. But for the Kumiko portion of this lamp, I wanted to keep it pretty simple. I'm using my Kumiko sled to cut all of these parts, and these pieces need this horn on the end that will notch into the joinery of the frame. They also need some equally spaced half-lap joints. For anyone unfamiliar with Kumiko, it's a traditional form of Japanese woodworking. It involves assembling thin wooden strips into different types of patterns, often inspired by nature. Traditionally used in shoji screens, Kumiko is now a popular craft for creating decorative panels, lamps like this one, and many more projects. If you want to learn more, I have several videos on this channel, as well as a blog post that I'll link down below. There are two types of pieces for this lamp, the horizontal pieces and the vertical pieces. Before installing them, I'm adding finish to the inside of the frame. This would be very difficult to do after the Kumiko is in place. I'm using Rubio Monocoat in 5% mist. It gives a really nice sheen that doesn't change the color of the red oak all that much. While I'm at it, I'll also apply finish to the inside of the body as well. Glue isn't always needed for Kumiko, and it's certainly not needed here. The precision joinery is enough to hold all of the pieces together. But adding glue here doesn't take long, and it'll ensure everything stays in place exactly as it should. These small panels get glued into the frame. They're very fragile, so I'm using light taps going from one end to the other until they're fully seated. Miter joints are commonly known to be fairly weak, as most of the connection is end grain to end grain. I'll use splines to help strengthen these connections. Making cuts across the corners of the box using my spline jig on the table saw. I thought two splines directly in the center would look nice, and for the splines themselves, I'm using basswood, which is the same wood I used for the Kumiko. There's one last step before gluing on the frame, and that's adding the acrylic. To help hide the inside of the lamp and to help diffuse the light, I'm adding some shoji paper. It's attached to the inside of the acrylic with double-sided tape. This panel will be fully captured within the lamp and won't be serviceable, so I'm being very careful to make sure the paper goes on flat without any bubbles or wrinkles. The second protective cover on the opposite face gets peeled off, and I'm adding a small bead of glue to attach the frame. Shoji paper gets attached to the back panel in the same way. This panel will be secured with screws so that it can be removable to service the lights and change the batteries. My original idea was to make the back panel out of wood, but then I thought it would be nice to have light shine out of the back of the lamp as well. I pre-drilled some holes for screws, and then it was on to finishing. The LED light strips are self-adhesive and run along the inside of the lamp. There's a battery pack that powers these lights, and that's screwed down to hold it in place. If you're interested in this lamp, it will be available at Pratt's Art Show on May 10th, 2025. I'll have more info on the event down in the description, as well as plans for this lamp if you want to make your own.